the first meditation, basically what we are going to do is, well, what I technically call bracketed noting, but it basically means that we're just going to label physical and emotional sensations that we happen to notice at a given moment. So we're not there's going to be a bunch of types of things that we're not going to label. So we're not going to label anything we see, we're not going to label anything we hear, we're not going to label anything we think. We can just sort of like disregard anything of those types of phenomena that might appear in awareness. Um, and so the idea is then that we just say the label to ourselves. So an example might be, so let's see, like I close my eyes and I notice some vibrating in my gut. So I just say to myself, vibrating. Or I notice maybe I'm feeling slightly nervous. So I just note nervousness or tingling. Or maybe my back hurts a little bit somewhere. So I note aching. Um, because we're only noting certain types of sensations, if you can't notice any of those types of sensations, then I just want you to note rest. So if you're like, I can't detect anything physically or emotionally happening right now, then I just note rest and then see if after that I can notice something. And if I still can't notice anything, then I note rest again. So that's sort of like your fallback move if you can't notice anything. All right, so you can now close your eyes. And I'd like you to take a few deep breaths, focusing on the relaxing or relieving sensation as you breathe out. So you breathe in, and just really tap into that sense of relief on the out breath. Notice how your body sort of relaxingly sags as you breathe out. Any stress or tension just falls away a little bit. Now, I would like you to see if you can widen your attention to include the area of your head, your chest, and your stomach. See if you can sort of hold these three areas in attention at the same time. And for now, you don't need to do anything, just see if you can hold them and observe. It's like you've been assigned to observe a particular box, and that box includes your head, your chest, and your stomach. You're just paying attention to the stuff going on there. If you find your attention drifting into thought, just gently bring it back to observing the region that includes your head, your chest, and your stomach. The area you're observing might be just a little bit bigger than your head, your chest, and your stomach. That's also fine. All right, now you are going to begin to note any physical or emotional sensations which appear in awareness. So you notice something and then you give it a label quietly to yourself in your head. And if you can't notice any physical or emotional sensations, then you can just note rest and be alert for the next sensation which arises. If nothing arises for a time, then you can note rest again, and so on. As we do this, we don't, of course, want to get carried away or swept up in the things we're noticing. So sometimes it can be helpful to kind of adopt the attitude of something like, nothing is particularly impressive or interesting that I'm noticing. I'm just sort of have this kind of dispassionate disinterest that I'm observing everything with, almost as if I were, like a scientist or something. And I'm just here observing the data of my experience, seeing what's happening, seeing if I can get an accurate sample of what's happening. Just observing. Doesn't matter whether things feel pleasant, they feel good, bad, neutral. Just kind of want to get all of the information on them that we can. Remember, if you get distracted, just gently bring yourself back to the task at hand. Don't get frustrated because you were distracted. The important thing is that you notice when you do notice. Frustration just makes everything harder. We want to be nice to ourselves while we do this. There's sort of a gentle, alert persistence here that we're bringing to this type of meditation. Okay, good. So when you feel ready, you can open your eyes, drink in the world for a moment. I'll say the same thing I always do. See if maybe you can just notice some detail or aspect of something that you wouldn't normally notice. We get so used to things, we often become blind to them. So always after a meditation is a good moment to do this type of thing. There's more there than we tend to see.